This is Michael Bertoni, founder and CTO of Philly Tech, and your host for Tech Talks every Wednesday at 12:30. I'm extremely excited to be here today. We are going to be talking talent, engineering talent, and I have with me what I call a unicorn engineer. What that means is the guy is unstoppable in terms of engineering, right? Everybody that I've talked to him to about any client or anybody I've put him in front of, he has blown them away, right? So one of the things we do at Philly Tech is we help entrepreneurs, we help software companies, we help tech companies find talent, find the best talent. It's really hard, right? So with me today, I have the white unicorn himself, Nick Steele. Nick, great to see you. And he's got that great name, Nick Steele, right? It's unbelievable.
That's 90% of my marketing.
So Nick and I have known each other for many years. And so once you start to develop a relationship in my business with somebody like Nick, you stay with him over and over and over. So the first time I started talking with Nick, I actually placed him at a client called GSI Health in Philadelphia. Right, and then I continued to stay and work with him, and then I just placed him at another client called Source Digital not too long ago. So Nick, it is so awesome to have you here today, and just wanted to understand. We're really going to tech it out, guys, today, just to let you know. So be prepared to tech it out. But we're going to get started with a few intro kind of softballs for Nick. How'd you get started in coding, Nick?
I started when I was like maybe 6 years old when Super Mario Brothers came out. I wanted to understand how it worked. I liked playing it at stores and stuff because I guess we couldn't get the console yet, but I really wanted to understand how the pixels moved, how it felt so real. Like, what in the heck is what in our universe can make something like that happen?
Right.
So I just got obsessed with assembly language. Was like the only way to do it at the time in like '85 or something. So I got obsessed with assembly language, and I just started trying to code with whatever I could get my hands on.
Yeah, that's great. And Nick kind of is one of those engineers that got into engineering in a different sort of way. You don't always have to go to school. You don't always have to, do that. So tell the audience a little bit about that, Nick, about how you got into coding and, how you're self-taught, all those different things.
My mom homeschooled us. She had like a Montessori type of school. She had like a master's in teaching and something else, like I think psychology. And she had like a homeschool, and she basically she got a whole bunch of books and told us to just, whenever we would ask questions, she would just say, look it up, or
right.
I'll write that down and look it up in the library. And that and some other things that she taught me made me like have like a love for understanding. I kind of describe it as like a runner's high when you finally understand something,
right? Or
when you get an answer to your question, or you link it up to other things in the world. I use the Montessori method mostly from my childhood to just find out what's most important, reliable sources of information, and like find out what works. And I like the scientific method and using first principles, like boiling things down to like what's really true. I always question like when I get a project, someone will say what they think is true, but I'll always reevaluate it to make sure that it's actually true, or that it makes actual sense for what they're trying to do. And there's pretty much every time with any client I've ever had, there's big, huge wins to be had because no one's just done that. And I think if other developers do that, it's like a really easy way to make profit.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've seen Nick do phenomenally is bring in new technologies, new platforms, new ideas, right? So any technology company that you're working with, the average engineer will basically do what they're told, right? They'll, so we need you to program in Java, or we need you to program in C#, or, some type of other language, and they just do it, right? So what I've seen Nick do time and time again in clients is bring in new, exciting technologies into companies, things like Angular, things like React, things like Vue. So tell the audience, Nick, about those technologies, what they do, right? And let's tech it out here a little bit. So what are you seeing as kind of the future with those technologies?
So if there's any real tech people or UI developers in the audience, I might get some blowback from this, but in order, the best UI frameworks right now is Angular is the worst, React is in between, they're still working out some things, and Vue is the best. Those are the mainstream ones. The future is moving away from this shadow DOM that sort of became popular in the last couple of years and moving back to, what do you call it, just direct JavaScript caching. And JSX is a mistake. I think the community is kind of realizing that, but JSX and the way that React banked on things of doing everything with JavaScript isn't the most efficient. A lot of companies are starting to realize that, and Vue, for example, is now more popular as far as GitHub stars than React is, and you could just. I've done multiple projects in React and Vue, and I've always done them faster in Vue, even though there has been historically less resources available with Vue. So if you're a UI developer, that's probably the way to go. Go with Vue if you're considering, and if you're a React developer, which statistically you probably would be, give Vue a try. See if you like it.
Yeah, for the less tech people out there, these languages, what they do is when you're looking at software, basically what you're seeing on the front end, so what you're able to view on that page, that's what these technologies enable. They enable you to build things that you see on the screen, right? You know, at a very high level. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Nick, which you didn't mention, is Node, right? So what I'm seeing with a lot of my clients is React and Node. I'm not seeing as much Vue. I'm seeing a little bit of Vue, but what about Node? What are your thoughts on Node.js?
You'll be seeing a lot more Vue in the future. React, it's just huge right now, and the S curve, React is still riding that curve, and they will for like another year. But Vue will be the future, and Node is the back end of the the front end and back end. If the UI is the front end, the back end that runs on the servers. Node is basically where the industry's at right now as far as the back end.
So you're saying the stack that you're seeing is Vue on the front end.
In the future, right now React is the most popular.
React is the best now. Vue.js, Vue.js, right? So why is that again? So again, it must be because, are there better libraries? I mean, like a lot of times, guys, when you're building things, you don't have to build things from scratch. There's people out there that have built libraries that you can tap into, but why Vue? Why is Vue the best thing for the front end right now?
So it just comes down to how people design things or how our brains work. You want the shortest, the smallest feedback loop between when you have an idea and you could see it working. That's why things like Webpack and a whole bunch of developer tools to just reduce that feedback loop from when you have a concept. Currently, you have to you sketch it out. Some people do live development. Well, almost everyone's starting to switch to live development where they make a change and they see it live with Webpack. And then with the way that Vue handles it with JSX, it's more complicated. Your brain has to go through more steps to see the result. Vue, with their SFC pattern or single file component pattern, they separate the template into HTML, the JavaScript into a script section, and the CSS into a style section. They all fit in one file, and you can import things and be flexible. But what that does, by separating them that way, the historical way from the 90s, by going back to that, you're able to separate your ideas more, and you do less task switching. So if you could also subdivide that to other developers. So you can have someone do the templating while another person works on wiring up, and there won't be any conflicts or merge conflicts when everyone submits their code.
So it sounds like at a very high level, better streamlined process, right? Better process for actually showing things where you can see them better, you can see them faster, right? The brain recognizes them faster, those types of things?
You have less steps going on in your head to do the same amount of work.
Great. So another thing we want to talk about with everybody is AI. So the thing that's, again, amazing about a guy like Nick is Nick knows how to do engineering full stack from the front end to the back end to the database, right? But he also knows how to build AI and machine learning algorithms. So what are you seeing there, Nick, in terms of, you know, the technologies out there, AI? Because what I'm being told and what I hear is that AI is the future, right, of the tech markets.
Yeah, yeah. AI will transform humanity on a level that we've never seen before. Like
Transform humanity.
Like that. It's serious. Like
Yeah.
and like if you listen to Elon Musk give a talk about it, like he's very serious. He's even more ominous than I am. But
right.
It's just so it's like how radio transformed communication, then television transformed, how the internet transformed. AI will be all those combined plus some in the next 20 years. It's so easy to get AI to do something for you, do something useful, and it's like a quasi-human doing this work perfectly time and time again. And you can train the model beforehand to be perfect, to be better than a human could be.
Yeah.
And then it just runs on a little piece of code, on a little tiny $5 server, and it's perfect. And it does its job forever, and never complains. No HR issues.
So changing humanity, guys. So we are going to come back and talk more about AI. I'm going to break it down for everybody, make it a little simpler to easier to understand what AI is. And Nick is going to dive down, and we're going to challenge things that Elon Musk is talking about. Come back, Tech Talks, in a few minutes.
Or just want to eat like one? Visit Rostelli Market Fresh, your home for the freshest, locally sourced ingredients to please everyone who loves great food. Our organic meats, quality seafood, and free-range poultry are cut fresh to order. Chefs create culinary-inspired prep foods made fresh every day, which pair nicely with our vast selection of fine wines and spirits. Choose from handmade pastas, artisan cheeses, organic produce, and grocery items, all from the finest purveyors. Rostelli Market Fresh, from our family to yours.
RVN TV is a platform for people of any industry to share their story. Over 285,000 viewers are tuning in to RVN TV shows monthly. We guarantee a great experience that you'll be sharing with everyone you know while increasing your personal and company's brand awareness. But what is your brand? According to Forbes, it's a combination of your logo, your product, your design and feel, and your personality. Did you know that aside from being a guest, we offer even more opportunity to boost your brand? Adding your company logo and website on screen during your interview will allow viewers to recognize your brand instantly. Incorporating images and video clips is another great way to showcase your product during your live segment. Let viewers see how good you really are. And most importantly, there's you and your interview. For less than the cost of a newspaper, direct mail, or a magazine ad, you can leave our studio and within 48 hours have a permanent digital copy of your live segment to link to your social media, embed into your company website, or use in email marketing. Investing in your brand is so very important, and we can't wait to have you as a guest.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write, the ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind-the-scenes footage, previews, and more.
I work 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. So when I'm off the clock, I gotta get stuff done. So when I need a snack, I need something healthy, tasty, and easy to eat. Like wonderful pistachios without the shells. They're protein-powered, delicious, and great on the go. And that's perfect for me. Thanks, Liz. A woman without a lot of time.
Okay.
So welcome back to Tech Talks. Again, I'm your host, Michael Bertoni, and we have the White Unicorn engineer. He is the best, seriously, the best, right? Actually, the last client, just to give you a story, the last client that I worked with that I got him into, basically I talked to about 50 people, and they weren't even close to what Nick could do. So unbelievable. So welcome back to Tech Talks. We're talking AI, very exciting. I wanted to give the audience just a brief understanding of what AI is at a high level. So basically there are tasks out there that can be automated, right? Everybody's heard of robots and machines taking over. But the initial stages of AI are really automating manual tasks, right? So machines are automated to learn how to do tasks, and they could be programmed to do those tasks. And then over time, they can learn how to do better and more complex tasks, right? So that's AI. So Nick, wanted to talk about the applications of AI that you're seeing in the industry, you know, things like video, things like other areas. What are some of the major applications that you're seeing for AI?
Probably the biggest, the biggest things right now as far as what someone could learn or what someone could make a profit on right now is sentiment analysis. That's where you take either patient records and you decide like what disease is coming up or what disease is likely or what they're at risk for. That's huge. There's a couple companies and some clients that I'm working with that are trying to achieve that. Lots of profit in that industry, and it's very easy to get into. And then after sentiment analysis, probably feature generation. That's where that's really big in online sales and storefronts. Like I'm doing a project for Amazon where classically throughout history, catalogs are curated by humans, and humans find the most important features on a product, like a refrigerator, like how wide and deep and tall is it, whether or not it has water coming from the front, how long does the filter last, different part numbers and manuals. Humans aren't historically very good at that, and so if you try to search for a refrigerator on Amazon, for example, that's one of the things, I'm not sure how much I could say about it, but that's one of the things that they gave me as an example that really sucks, is if you search for a fridge on Amazon, you can't find the one that you need, the one that'll fit in your kitchen.
Right.
So we're developing feature generation to analyze every refrigerator, the manuals for every refrigerator, and having the machine find out what are all the things that people might be interested in. And it does that by reading reviews, listening to complaints, and just building a list of what's important, and then just producing these the catalog for the refrigerators automatically.
Right. So like we talked before about View kind of being the leader for front-end development. So I know there are a number of technologies, you know, Google, Amazon has technologies, I know Python, Java, right? So what do you see as really the future tech of AI? What are people building these machine learning algorithms in? What clouds are they using to enable that, right? So explain that to the audience.
The most important development in AI in the last couple of years is TensorFlow and the stuff that came out of that, like Keras and other things. But if you Google TensorFlow, you'll be pointed in the right direction. It's also a very low barrier of entry because now there's TensorFlow.js. You could work with TensorFlow in your browser. In fact, Google has intro to TensorFlow that even children can do, like you could do in grade school or something, where you could, it'll videotape you through your camera and you can make gestures and have it trigger things. It will learn what that means. And then it'll show you the code for it. It's like 20 lines of code.
Right.
So it's a very low barrier of entry. Most people are using TensorFlow or some derivative of that, and it's called TensorFlow because a tensor is just a multidimensional array. Like if people program, if you think this barrier of entry is high, it's not. It's just an array if you're used to that, and then multiple dimensions.
Right.
That's what TensorFlow is based on. It's just a standard way to transmit these tensors or these arrays that have been pre-filled out with stuff that that organizes an idea. You just trade them between software libraries and get stuff done a lot quicker.
Right.
That's the piping that's helped the industry grow a lot. And then R is great for actually getting data in. Python is still awesome too. But R and Node, just because of how ubiquitous it is and how big the community is, are what most people work with, that I've worked with. I know Python is also very big.
Right. So again, what Nick had said before, which is really important, is barrier to entry, right? So as Nick's talking, some people in the audience might be like, oh geez, I'm confused. Like, how do I get into this if I want to, right? You get out there and you start Googling things like TensorFlow, things like machine learning. And then you think about things that you're an expert in that you can automate, right? So most people out there in the audience, again, are experts in a particular industry, experts in a particular area. Think about those things. Then obviously you could reach out to us, you could reach out to myself, you could reach out to Nick, but it's very easy to start educating yourself on Google and doing these things. So I welcome you to do that. So kind of transitioning to Elon Musk, right? And he is building, guys, these brain interfaces, brain-machine interfaces, right? That is going to connect us to machines. So what does that mean, Nick, for people out there? So what is he building?
So there's this thing called the singularity, the human singularity. A singularity in science nomenclature or whatever is something you can't see past. You can make predictions based on things, but a singularity is something that no matter what numbers you crunch or what ideas you throw at it, it's impossible to see what will happen because so much changes and you just can't have access to those variables.
Right.
So there's this human singularity that this person named, I forget his name, but he wrote this book called The Singularity is Near, Ray Kurzweil. He predicts that in 2045 or 2046, somewhere around there, we'll reach the human singularity, which is we'll develop AI that will be able to reprogram itself. We won't have to improve it, it'll improve itself. And when that happens, you'll release version 1.0 at 9 a.m. and 9:01 a.m. version 2 will come out, and 9:01 and 3 seconds version 3 will come out because it'll keep updating itself.
Right.
And it will just surpass us beyond anything. And pretty much every data scientist, everyone who's in AI, they're on board with that. They know it's going to happen. It's just inevitable.
Right.
Everything we do just works. Everything we try to do with AI, we're able to do. So everyone believes that general intelligence is just around the corner as far as what we need to get there.
Right.
We have all the parts, we just have to connect them. So Elon Musk also believes this. So he started this company. Well, he worked with OpenAI, which is developing a lot of really great stuff in the industry right now. But he also developed this company called Neuralink. And he just released a press release like a week or two ago describing it. He's got a product ready. He's already tested on monkeys. They've let that slide. I don't think they were supposed to mention that. But it already works. And you can connect with a little chip and a small incision in your brain. You can hook up a chip and you can connect it to an app on your phone and control things with your mind.
Right.
But that's been around for maybe 10 years or so. And there's even like little gadgets that you can buy on Amazon to like connect your brain and do things like up or down, left and right.
Right.
But this is orders of magnitude beyond that. This is 10,000 like bits per second, or 10,000 bits at a time. It might be 100,000 bits per second, but you can transmit entire images or entire videos in real time between your mind and something else. It's just an unbelievable jump, and they plan on having that connected with humans by the end of next year in the first patient, getting it FDA approved and everything.
Yeah.
So, and the reason why he wants to do that is because when the singularity happens, when AI surpasses our ability to keep up with it, what will it decide to do, or what will it do based on what we've told it to do at the time? What will version 2 and 3 and 4 decide based on the design that we set up for it? And some people are worried that it'll be a Terminator Skynet scenario.
Right.
So we can't prevent that, because a child born today, 20 years from now, can do it themselves. This could be a one-person effort in 20 years. So there's no way to stop it from happening, because as soon as one person does it, it's done.
Right. Right.
So it will happen. So all we can do, so we can't stop it, so all we can do is let it happen. So we need to either merge with it or be surpassed by it, become the non-dominant species on the planet.
Right.
So Neuralink is supposed to connect us with AI so that we could make the transition together.
Yeah, let's think about this for a second, guys. Remember when there was no internet? So I'm 45 years old, right? So when I went to college in 1992, there was barely an internet, right? So think about all the industries and companies and technologies that the internet spawned, right? And I think people probably thought when the internet was coming out that it was going to take over the world, right? That this internet, geez, it's going to take over the world. We're going to have problems that are going to result. I think the same thing is going to happen with AI, in my mind, it is going to spawn new companies, new technologies, new industries, right? So, learn about it, guys. Check it out and understand about AI more, because again, think about when there was no internet and think about all the businesses that were spawned as a result of just the internet. So what do you see, Nick, as the applications? So what are going to be in, say, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, what are going to be some of the applications of AI that are just going to come right into our world and, we're just going to be dealing with it?
So about 1 in 3 clients that I have today hire me for AI reasons. And the biggest thing that they ask for is predictive stuff. Like, I think I can say this, the NBA wants to predict game outcomes.
Right,
and
sure.
They have no idea what that's going to mean, but they want to do that. And it will undoubtedly change their industry if they know who's going to win before it happens. That'll help them be able to detect if someone's throwing a game, or like maybe player injuries ahead of time. Like it's strange that that's even a possibility. Like it's going to transform sports.
Right.
They have a project going with some people that I'm working with. Also in healthcare, every hospital on the planet wants to be able to predict. They want to take patient records and say, feed it into this black box, right, and say, oh, you have these 3 diseases and you're going to get this disease unless you change these things. And that's possible. We've made proofs of concepts that show that works today.
Right.
And they're like every healthcare company is jumping on that at some point. They might not know what they're doing quite yet, but they're pushing the money in the direction to achieve that. And some companies have actually achieved somewhat pretty good success with that. And then another thing that a lot of not healthy people are doing right now, like they're making fake reviews or altering YouTube video success rates or interaction rates, and making fake news and stuff with AI. They're like sort of the forerunners of this stuff.
Right.
They're showing that the concept works, and
right,
then the people who are checking all the boxes on security, they're following up with versions that work in the real world that actually help humanity.
Yeah, so predictive, guys. So that's the main thing around AI. So again, if you're doing research out there, predictive analysis, AI, those types of things. So it's been great having you on the show, Nick. Really think we had a great talk, and love to hear everybody's feedback out there on the show as well. So thanks a lot for coming to Tech Talks. Come back next week, Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Thanks.